What's up, everybody? Today I will be reviewing a coaster I rode not too long ago at a park I really like, and that is, of course, Daredevil Dive, the Ghost Style Eurofighter at Six Flags over Georgia, my first Six Flags park I've been to. I rode this at the end of July, and it was the first coaster I rode at the park. So I think I'm going to do my reviews in order of what I rode at Six Flags over Georgia. So yeah, expect Batman the ride. Being a member clone up next probably, and then maybe expect some reviews of different parks, roller coasters in between that. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna start doing my reviews of in the order of what I rode at each park. I don't know if I'm just gonna do Six Flags over Georgia coaster and get it over done with, or maybe do a mix of other parks. I'm not sure, but I'll post an update on that whenever I am sure. All right, so let's get into the video and with the first segment. So like always, the first segment is the stats. The height of this roller coaster is 95 feet. I mean, it's not too tall, but it is a pretty tall ride, I guess. The length now is really bad in my opinion. It's only 2,099 feet of track, which really looking at it's not that bad, but whenever you ride it, it seems very short. This ride goes 52 miles per hour, which is kind of impressive, probably because it has that 95-degree drop. Probably reaches that speed, and it also has 3 inversions. Okay, so let's get out to the theming. Okay, so the theming now, I believe this is themed like old school, like a jet race or something, or maybe from like the 40s or 50s, but I'm not sure. Like, I didn't really pay too much attention to the theming, but that's what I found on the internet. It's kind of an old school jets, I guess. I'm not sure. It's like themed like Daredevils too, and like Daredevils, like people that are like thrill seekers, and people that like want adrenaline rushes. So yeah, and it's in the USA section of the park, and then they in 2010 or 11, I think, when it came out to 11. I don't know if they built it in like 2010 before the coaster opened, but they have like a whole plaza dedicated to this ride, which I think that's the only one besides Goliath in the whole park that they have a whole plaza dedicated to. I guess you can argue Superman a ride, but like Battle for Metropolis kind of occupies that plaza too. But so yeah, this is it's really close to the Gotham City section. Yeah, like it basically goes over the bridge. Like you have to go under like a bridge to get the Gotham City section, and then I think Georgia is like a really hilly park, so you understand what I mean. Whenever you go there, so yeah, it's a pretty good themed ride. You know, it's probably the most themed ride in the park, I would say. Maybe Superman is like a little more themed, but I actually didn't get to ride Superman. Ultimate Flight, I only waited in the queue line, and we were almost in the ride, and it broke down, and we was like past closing, so they didn't fix the ride. You know, that kind of made me angry. So yeah, this is probably the most themed ride of the park. Good theming, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm gonna get the layout. Basically, you got a vertical hill, like some people call it not even a hill, some people call it like a spike. Whatever you want to call it, vertical hill, spike, whatever. Then you hit a 95-degree drop, which is really good. It is kind of forceless, but you know, I still felt it a little bit because it's a 95-degree drop. It's probably one of the steepest drops. I don't know if I forgot if Maverick is steeper, but if it is, it's either one of those two coasters to the steepest coaster I've ridden, because those are the only rides that go beyond 90 degrees, which is vertical. Then you fly into an Immelman, then you hit the mid-course brake run, then or did I say it? You can hit a dive loop, then the Immelman, then the mid-course brake run, and hit the Hardline Road. So let's take a look at that. Okay, everybody. I'm using theme park review, not crazy. POV of Daredevil Dive. So yeah, full credit goes to him, and also a shout out to him. He had 1 million subscribers. If you guys didn't know, he was like almost at 1 million subscribers. He had like 6,000 to go, but he hit it. So yeah, good job. All right, so let's get to this POV. Yeah, should we see some off-ride footage? Yeah, it's got a big old sign too. Okay, so get straight into it. All right. If you guys didn't know, it's like the trains are like not typical roller coaster trains. They're like three rows, 2 seats in each row, and they're like kind of like shaped like a triangle also. So yeah, you hit this like neat lift hill. This is my only vertical lift hill I've ridden. You know, it's a really cool experience. I kind of wish they could have made it a little bit higher, actually. Maybe like 120 feet or something like that. Maybe would have gave it some force on the drop. So you kind of fly up this lift too. Then you get like a short, pretty good view of the park. You know, you can see Goliath over there. Then you just go straight into the drop. Then you hit the dive loop. Then you back to the right. Then you hit. Wait, was that Oh yeah, and back there was the implement, and then you hit the midcourse brake run. Kind of a weird implement. Then you like back to the right a little bit. Then you go into a tunnel. Then you hit the hardline road, which is probably one of my favorite parts of the ride. Then you hit the brake run, final brake run right there. Okay, everyone, now let's go to the draws and flaws. Okay, so the draws and flaws. Basically, the draws are what the good things are in the ride, what I like. These are the flaws, this is the bad things and what I dislike about the ride. Okay, so let's get the good things first. Basically the best thing about this ride is definitely the beyond vertical drop. I mean, it was kind of close with the hardline roll, but you know, definitely the beyond vertical drop definitely takes the cake, and the vertical lift hill kind of too, because it's a very unique experience. I have not experienced yet. Oh, at the time I hadn't experienced it at the time, and it was really cool, and it kind of a little bit blew me away, cause you know, but not really. I wasn't really expecting much for this ride, but it kind of underperformed, I guess. Like once I got up there, I was kind of a little bit overhyping it, but like before I even got to the park, and I didn't really expect much. But yeah, once I was just looking at it, it kind of looks a little bit like overhyped in my opinion. Like just looking at it kind of is a little bit intimidating, but you know, it's really not that bad. Basically, the second thing about this ride I like is the inversions. Now, the best inversion on this ride is definitely that hardline roll. It gives so much hang time. And I really like that inversion. I just really like hardline rolls in general. They're really cool. And then you have like implement and dive loop also, which is kind of adds to the ride. You know, really cool inversions and all. And then you got the restraints. The restraints are really cool. They're lap bars and not over the shoulder, so you get the hang time and you get the force. So yeah, and then the last thing I like about this ride is really the theming, because you know it's probably the best best ride in the park for theming. Well, best roller coaster I would say. So yeah, really the only competition is like Superman, but I really think this probably has better theming. But I really couldn't understand what was really going on though. But the theming is pretty dense theming. So yeah, now let's get to the flaws. Definitely the worst thing about this ride is the length. Not really just the length in general as a stat, but it feels like really short and incomplete. I really think they could stuck like 2, maybe even 3 more inversions in there, maybe a couple helixes in there just to like lengthen the ride, and maybe try to break a couple records for the roller coaster. I know Six Flags doesn't really break records like Cedar Fair likes to do. Well, they did say they're gonna break some records this year, but this was like, you know, a first year that they did that, and most of them were flat rides. So yeah, I really think they should try to at least break at least one record. They might have actually broke one record with this ride at the time when it opened. I'm not sure. So yeah, the second like worst thing about this ride is probably the forcelessness. You know, going through the drop and like all the you know, kind of hills and stuff. You know, this ride has really no force. Definitely the most forceful part about this ride. I don't know this ride once. It was in the back row. Wait, no. Yeah, it was row 3. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was either row 1 or 3. I'm not sure. Basically, I remember just getting whipped over the drop. You know, you get really good whip over the drop. I can't remember. I think it was third row. You definitely get really good whip over the third row. I'm not sure about front row because I didn't ride in front row. So yeah, you just get whipped over that drop. It's kind of forceless. It's probably forceful more than most roller coasters, but you know, just looking at the roller coasters I've ridden, like Intimidator 305, Millennium Force, Fury 325, all those roller coasters have really forceful drops. But this one doesn't, and even the same part Goliath and Great American Scream Machine had really forceful drops. This really didn't have that much of a forceful drop, but it's still a good drop, you know. basically the next thing I don't like really is the capacity, because this like basically it was like only like 20, 30 people maybe, I'm not sure, but like it took forever. Like they had pretty slow operations because the cards were so small. You know, you can only say six people in it. You know, it's 3 rows, 2 in each row. You know, the capacity is pretty terrible, and basically, if those amount of people who waited for Goliath, we probably would have been there for like 2 or 3 trains. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, basically this next thing I don't like is the mid course. I only rode this ride once, and in the POV I showed you, the mid course might have been not running like as max as it did today. I went basically we slowed down to like legit a stop, and then we had to pick all that speed back up. That could have been of why the Hardline Road was so like hang timey, because we were going at a slower speed. So it kind of improved the ride at the same time, but kind of not improved the ride. So yeah, now let's get to the height. Now this isn't really a big complaint. I just wish they could have went maybe 10, 15, maybe even 20 feet higher than they did. You know, like I mentioned before, break some records. And really get some force in the ride, and get some speed back in it too. Okay guys, let's go to the next section, which is my final, or what I like to call the adrenaline score. Okay, so everybody brace yourself. This is my final score, and I give this ride a 6 out of 10. This is a really kind of average roller coaster. Have you noticed it did not place in my top 20? It probably places in my top 30, if not that, probably top 40 of like 70 roller coasters I've ridden. So it's a little bit above average. Average I say is about 5 out of 10, and you know, like really above average is really everything above 5 out of 10, and below average is really below everything 5 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm sorry, guys, that I'm not posting as much as I usually do, but you know, school has started. And we're kind of getting into the off season of roller coasters. So my most successful segment, which is my news segment, they usually get like a lot of views, mostly over 100 views each video. So yeah, the news has really stopped, but you know, we could see Kentucky Kingdom announced, so I'll get on that whenever they do announce. Yeah, I'll probably get a lot of views on that video too. So yeah, that's really why I stopped, because the news segment is really like, the news is really over for most parks, and that's my most successful segment, which is really my main draw of doing this. But another main draw is because I enjoy doing this, but I enjoy doing like countdowns and reviews really the most. So that's what you probably guys are gonna see, a lot of countdown reviews. Okay, so yeah, just thanks for watching this whole update and this video. So I'll see you guys next time.